Welcome back, everybody. It has been a long break, so we're going to go ahead and get straight into the action. It is TDR, the winners of Open Division of Winners League last season, and now they're competing against the big dogs, up against Berzerk, a German Titan, up next. So let's go straight into endgame. I believe we're already ready to go, so let's get the show on the road, Zach. Welcome back. Let's get this baguette. Now, yeah, I believe he was on one of the versions of alternated attacks as well as, yeah, maybe Penta actually. There it is. But there it is. The hits coming in from TDR, coming in through the monster side. Toss is able to find one in return, and so is Mali's. But it is a bit of a tough hold as there are several terrorist players making their way on towards the site. But it is so far so good. Trades are coming in left and right, but it is down to a 2 versus 2. No sounds. One second. One second, guys. We're just gonna go to a quick short break. So we have a technical issue here, right? We're just gonna resolve it very quickly. And we're back. There it is, fixed up. So Berzerk picking up an important pistol round, of course, that gets him some weapons and some things to play with, while TDR Gaming, unsuccessful in their pistol attempts, are relegated down to just pistols. One deagle in hand for the Bulgarian side. That is Patrick, who has been hyped up in the chat. So I'm expecting big things from this young gun, as TDR look to essentially steal a round away here from Berzerk.
Only Patrick's deagle really anything of note in this round. TDR looking for that quick third round buy. Any damage that they can get will be welcome here. If they can recover a gun and do some more with it, that'll be even better. But likely a pop in towards the A site on the main.
Oh, Mink's gonna be leading the way, but this is all soft targets right here, and the SMGs might rain hell for the TDR side. But Patrick with that decoy able to find a kill, so at least some economic damage is being dealt, and Patrick's not really liking his current angle, so he's gonna take a sweet time, try to squeeze out one more kill, potential 2 kills out here. That would really hurt the economy for the German side. So let's see what Patrick's up to. Deagle in hand, and his life is also in his hands. Or in Melissa's hands, I should say. But regardless, Berzerk picking up the second round. TDR. Now they have themselves a buy. It's going to be AK-47s. I don't think they'll, no scoped weapons for them. And Berzerk, they have a bit of a, kind of an awkward predicament here. Whether they have to, I think they're just going to go for the bonus. Legit hasn't picked up a weapon yet. And it's going to be an MP9. So, August picked up. Oh, what was that light? That's a bright light. That's the opposite of a black hole. A little star in the connector side. But TDR. They really cannot let this half slip away too early. You give away that economy lead, you give away that advantage early on, and you might find yourself in trouble.
Yeah, definitely the underdogs in this matchup from what I can tell. We'll see what they can do here on their first gun round. Washing out towards long for some control. No one gonna prod in that direction. A lot of forward ground on this map to work with for CTs, but Berzerk instead opting to sit relatively safely in sands there on short A.
Okay, TDR taking their time. This is a pretty standard default, I would say, on overpass. Just use your utility, smoke off bathrooms, deny information, use the Molotovs to push Berzerk back into A site, where you can gain control of the map and deny some information while you figure out what you want to do. But it seems like TDR has already started to make that decision, and the decision is monster.
Executing into the B site now. Molotov in for barrels. The information's there, and the rotate still not coming down. Finally, you're gonna call for it here. Bomb's gonna go down. It's gonna be a full-on 5v5 retake situation, minus oxygen finding that first frag, but a trade comes.
It's coming in, and Sinks is in pit now. The cavalry has arrived. But can TDR hold this back? They're out of utility, so it's gonna have to be guns out from here now. Tossin draws first blood in this post-plant situation. And TDR, they're starting to lose grips on the site. Cello making his way in. It's down in man advantage here for Berzerk, and Popov only able to find one, but he's made it doable for Experiment, who's went from behind. Now he's found himself a kill. He has to play ring around the Rosie, and he's killed just enough time. No more time for the defuse, and there is a 1 versus 2 clutch. TDR Gaming on the board early.
Really nice play there to bait around the smoke and dance there. Just that was basically their only chance getting back into the round. He had to make an individual play like that, and in the post-plant situation, Berzerk was finding everything they needed to, but just kind of didn't expect him to be behind them. They expected him to be in a better position, like short.
For sure, but now Berzerk, no money, no dice. No dice, no guns. No guns, a low percent chance of winning. So TDR, they can make this comeback right here, or at least should be able to, as they have the superior weapons. Sinks and Malizda, they're the kind of the X factor in this round, right? They're the only ones with deagles and armor. Everybody else is relatively on pistols. I think it's a P250 here in the hands of legit. Besides that, it's pretty standard things. TDR splitting up across the map, looking to take the long range engagements and map control towards the long A side, and it seems like the bomb is already making its way over towards that A site. So, likely for this to be an A hit.
They're running up long. I mean, they only made contact just now, so the rotate is still going to take a bit to get here. If they can capitalize on this site, only having one player home before they get pinched in with pistols, this could be an easy round for them to clean up. Dancing around Dice is going to be Cello, but he'll go down quickly and sinks as well. Falls on jump up. Tossin does find one on oxygen. That's the lurk down, and if they can recover and save that rifle, it is just a Galil. They might try to get something with it, and they will find something with it. Popov going to completely whiff that.
Yeah, this is spiraling out of control, isn't it? Now, TDR is still in control here, of course, but they're losing a lot of money. Might lose themselves a few more bodies here if they're not careful enough. Tossin lucky to just hold on to that weapon. Malizda finds a kill. That's Mink gone down, so that's a lot of economic damage dealt, and Tossin might be looking for another kill, and there it is. Brained.
They in on this, though. They can't get it. They have no time, but still, this is a very good round out of Berzerk, considering what they invested.
Yeah, definitely. It was, what, 2 deagles and armor? That's it. Everybody else was on USPs and no armor. So, and they got 2 AKs out of that. I think the German side is more than happy with that. They find themselves some stride, a stroke of luck.
Yeah, look at the economic situation that they've left their opposition in as well. I mean, there's still another Galil coming out from Popov here. Like, their economy's not settled out whatsoever on the TDR side, and at any moment, Berzerk could just break it. This round is going to be a telling one for how the rest of this half works out, though.
Are you seeing that bright light coming into
I'm not.
Okay. A very interesting light, that one.
I was wondering what you were talking about when you were seeing that.
Regardless, it is TDR finding early control towards the A site. Now, again, of course, this is pretty standard things. We haven't really seen anything kind of X factor from Berzerk. They're playing pretty standard setups. Legit going for that AWP duel towards long A. Unsuccessful this time around. Nice little attempt, but that element of surprise is gone. Now Tossin's up next. He's up going for the first one with the AK-47, and he's found himself a kill. Looking to go for another one. There it is. Tossin, Malizda towards water, finds himself a kill as well. And it seems like TDR is just walking in one by one. Popov eventually answers back, but it might be just a little too late, Zach. A 1 versus 4.
Just a consolation frag, to say the least, at long there. Malizda's already positioning himself to cut him off in bathrooms. They haven't located the bomb, but knowing where he is, they can't just pinch him in. He's got to try to find 1v1s, but he'll lose the first, and that'll be a round for...
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and reconnect to the server real quick while we fix the slight issues happening here in our server. Usually a reconnect will fix all that for us, so we're just going to go to replays for just 1 second here. And there it is. We are almost back. Almost. And we're back. Alright, sweet. Right now, Tossin aggressive towards the site. Now, towards the fountain side, excuse me. And he knows the limited on the money. And there it is. A double kill comes out. The goal. The Kobe, as you will. Popov able to find a couple kills in return, as long as with Exprand. So some economic damage, but legit is not going to let this one slip away. Hopefully all the issues are resolved, that we can kind of focus in on the action, but that not much there in that round. It's just a Bit of a full save there from TDR. Now they have a bit of a weird economic situation where they kind of have to save again. So it's going to be pistols, a little of armor, and some utility in hand. But they're up against 2 AK-47s, an AUG, and AWP for Legit, who looked pretty aggressive and confident with that scoped weapon early on. So this is trouble for TDR.
And not really a lot they're going to be able to do here. As I mentioned, Overpass is the map in the pool where you get the most safe forward ground, I'd say, as a CT. Like, the amount of angles that you can peek and safely fall off of is completely maximized on this map. As you can see where these guys are holding back, there's on the A site, that's Tossin. He's spotted them in upper. Now he's just going to safely fall back in towards the A site. The information's there, and this is just going to make it even harder for these guys to take them out.
Yeah, look at the aggression right now coming in from Tossin. I mean, he knows these guys are unarmored. He knows they have just pistols. He's looking to take every single duel he can find. Eventually, he falls. So that aggression is punished, but again, Berzerk, they've already pretty much secured the round. They just have to keep as many players alive as possible, get their economy set in stone, and Sinks is not going to let any money go away. So it's going to be Berzerk finding the early lead right here in a 5-2. A pretty comfortable lead, I'd say, early in this half.
Yeah, you're right. It is comfortable. It's their economy is starting to build on a couple of players at least. You see Sinks getting up into the 6K area. They'll at least be able to get one good buy if they, full lose out a round. But either way, TDR, this is probably one of the rounds that you're going to want to take if you want to really make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like aggression early towards the water side. The grenades is going whizzing by over Oxygen's head. Gonna leave him with a good, healthy amount of health. But meanwhile, Legit, he's drawn first blood. He's found that early pick towards the A site. Patrick is punished, and Popo falls next. And once again, TDR's offense is crumbling slowly but surely.
Berzerk is getting comfortable, somewhat like we saw Virtus Pro get comfortable in the previous map. They're really taking those individual fights with confidence. They're winning them with ease, and this is where things can get kind of scary if you're a T facing a CT team that's willing to take those fights and is winning them consistently.
Definitely. It's kind of like the money thing as well, right? When you don't have a lot of money, you can't really justify the same amount of risks, right? But as soon as your money, you're getting into that comfortable, no eco territory, you can start taking those risks. You can start kind of finding those early duels. Legit. Avoids death, but he gets shot in the legs. And he has some strong legs. He has 21 HP left. And Expand trying to find some sort of forward ground, but Tossin meets him on top of the garbage can. So, back on track, and Berzerk looking solid as ever here on this CT side.
Tossin's just being a menace in this position. We see he's already out to 16-6 on the scoreboard. The veteran player here is just standing tall in this short position. TDR aren't able to do much about it. And Tossin, he's repositioning. Like, look at the presence of mind to know that this player is likely trying to save or heading to long. He spots him. The information's there. 10 seconds left. They can even try to kill him after time if he doesn't get this kill. But instead, Mink going to take the fight to Tossin. Tossin cleans him up. 18 frags on the board for this man. That's some heavy lifting.
Yeah. Tossin's going hard right now. Although a lot of his kills have been eco frags, he's still been impactful nonetheless. I mean, that was a full gun run right there, and he just mowed them down one by one in the bathroom position.
The scoreboard doesn't care if their opponents are on eco. Let's just remember that.
Yeah. Now, TDR relegated back down to the pistols. They've had no success towards that A site, and I think they're going to have to start dealing with Tossin here if they want some sort of chance on the A site. I look at Tossin's aggression. Finally, it is punished, and they now have an AUG to work with. So that switches their formula up a little bit.
Oxygen should probably toss this rifle over to someone else with the amount of HP that he has left. Could toss it into Patrick's hands, of course, the chat favorite for TDR. I'm wondering what they're going to decide to do here. Patrick on the other side of the map's actually caused a little bit of havoc. He takes down Sinks. Liz the quick on the trade, but it's going to kick into gear a little bit of hesitant rotating from Berzerk as Cello tries to make something happen, taking down one.
Now, there's a lurk coming in on the A site right now. Mink, he's almost inside, but he only has a CZ, but a missed shot from Legit's giving him an opportunity, and Oxygen finds Melissa on the rotate, so it's all down to Cello. He's in front of bathrooms. His position is compromised. They know exactly where he is. They just need to secure this round. This is the savior round, right? This is not a round that should have been favoring TDR, and suddenly they find themselves in the winning condition.
Cello swinging wide. That's the start of what needs to be a pretty miraculous retake here. He tries to break back into the site. Looking for the pit player. He's going to molly him out. Knows that the other player could be up in towards heaven, so he'll flash him off, looking for the fight against him. And he is going to find the first frag here. That was very important. He does have a kit to work with. The bomb is planted. A really rough spot. And an easy round for TDR to clean up there. Mink, nice peek.
Yeah, a little bit shaky towards the end of that round, but hey, a round nonetheless, and a free EWP as well. So I think TDR is more than happy with that, and Berzerk are probably kind of starting to tap themselves on the head, like, okay, maybe we're pushing our luck with that aggression towards the A site now, right? Kind of started crumbling from there. Now, they still have a lot of money in the bank.
Tossin should play more safe, right?
I mean, maybe on these types of rounds, not overall, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying, like, now that he's been found out, it's like he should respect this a little bit more, is what we might expect out of him.
Yeah, for sure. And their money's pretty much fully used up, right? It's just Cello and maybe Tossin that are on the verge of the buy territory, but I don't even think Tossin is. So I think at this point the risks will be minimized here for Berzerk. TDR, they have a chance. This is the swing ground right here. This is what they need to tie this first half up early. Legit, once again, he's been shut down pretty consistently towards that long A side, but he's looking to take that duel again. But I don't think he wants to press his luck too much. So he's going to fall back, and long A control has been gained for the Bulgarian side.
Actually a nifty smoke there thrown from Oxygen. That smoke's off a position on short. Now Tossin's forced to kind of get up close to it to decide whether this is a fake or not. We see TDR starting to orient themselves toward this B site. That may be their destination of choice here. Sinks is going to be flashed in, looking for the information. Patrick spots him, so now the jig is up.
Yeah, they can definitely sniff out this setup right here. The Molotovs are good, but the flashbangs are not nearly well timed enough, so it's going to give the Sinks an opportunity to just mow them down on the fence, trying to come through the smoke. Expand, able to find one, but the flashbangs have him confused and dead. So it's all down to Mink in a 1 versus 3. 25 seconds left on the clock. It is not looking good, and this might be too much to ask for one man with an AWP.
He's got to find one to start with. He sees one. He's actually spots Tossin as well, but Tossin's going to be able to play safe. I think he is going to just run for the save here. Is he going to make it? He's always going for this. Okay, 10 seconds left. He's got to find this kill and get the bomb plant. That's not going to happen. Sig shuts him down quickly. 7 rounds now for Berzerk. An important round for them to pick up there economically, as you mentioned. And once again, a save out of TDR.
You know, I do have to question that decision. Mink, had he saved that AWP, he had enough money. Actually, he probably wouldn't have had enough money because of the fact he wouldn't have had a bonus. But he could have dropped at least one AK over here. So they would have had an AWP, an AK-47, and possibly even a Galil. But now they're forced on a save, so questionable. But Berzerk,
I mean, even just the op could have helped, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh, this is about to get messy. Now Berzerk's hearing all this commotion, this stampede happening to the right outside of Monster. Sinks, as well as Melissa doing a good job holding on, but Mink's finally drawing blood. Cello from heaven with the AUG, a good weapon in a good position, and they're mowing them down one by one. And suddenly the advantage is back into Berzerk's hands.
Flashbang in to support Sinks. He's now up on elbow, looking for one of these 2 kills. We'll find one. Looking for the last member of TDR here, and Tossin's going to come and clean up that one. So Berzerk escapes what could have got messy, as you mentioned. They were, I mean, that's a comfortable setup, though. You can concede the site in that situation if you know that they're all just going to run out Monster and you have the proper setup and short control.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, just kind of trade out, right? Let him have Monster. We'll play the retake from inside water in heaven. And that leaves very little positions for TDR to play in. So, job well done, I'd say. Berzerk holding on. Again, these rounds have been relatively expensive. And I think legit his position has been compromised trying to find that early pick. So his element of surprise once again taken away from him. And we can see him already falling back.
Interesting decision there from Melissa to just open up the door and opt for a 1v1. He'll lose that. It's TDR out to an early advantage, one that they really haven't had that many times in this half so far.
Let's see if they're able to convert. They seem like they're happy with that one-man advantage and the amount of territory that they have, so they're going to go ahead and decide that. They're going to come through Monster once again. It's worked out for us on these gun rounds. We're going to try that. But look at Sinks. Sinks is in a very poor position, but he's unable to convert a single kill. That's going to leave Berzerk in a bit of a trouble here.
Molotovs are raining into the site. Patrick's up close. He's very low, so this should not be a problem as Cello cleans him up. Looking for one more. They aren't able to get in to clean this guy up, and finally, we'll find him. Popov finds one as well on the legit, and this is a good round from TDR. You saw how they oh, he's going straight for this. Okay. I expected him to just run.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Dawson's just kind of feeling himself right now, sitting at 20-8. That's a pretty impressive score line.
I mean, yeah, I guess why not, right? If you're hitting that many frags. I mean, the interesting thing about that round is that, like I said, they got the initial pick that they really haven't had, and you saw how quickly they were just willing to just gear into a site and get off of that pick.
Definitely.
Worked out that time.
For sure. Here we go. Now Berzerk's in a bit of a tough situation themselves. Yes, they have some weapons, but Melissa's been relegated down to that deagle. And again, that weapon saved from Tossin, that could have been a weapon right there from Melissa and full utility on top of that as well. So, tough situation for sure. But Berzerk, they're compensating for their weapons here. They're going to go for the connector control as well as water. So it kind of cuts off a big part of the map, but it really leaves A kind of in the dark, doesn't it?
They don't have a lot of control. We know that Tossin is boosted in the connector, so that's an off angle, but one that he is going to have to absolutely win this. See the head of he's tapping away, takes him down. I'm not sure if he's actually been revealed or not yet. That's where the silencer could have paid dividends. And ooh, legit in connector finds one as well. They're having trouble cleaning this connector out on TDR's side, and despite being in a lacking position, Berzerk making the most of this round.
Yeah, I think Berzerk's pretty happy with the outcome. They're going to go ahead and reset and go back to sites and play like a normal round with a 2-man advantage, as well as Patrick being down below that 20 HP mark. So he's pretty much one-shottable here by almost any of the weapons that Berzerk's carrying. So, tough situation here for TDR, the Bulgarian side, and time is not in their favor. 25 seconds left, and they seem like they have a sight on their crosshairs, and that seems to be their decision here.
Flash is going to blind up Sync, but not going to bother him. He comes out, finds Patrick, as you mentioned, that 1 HP just coming into play there, and a save now from TDR. Finally a save.
And not in the way you'd expect, though, right? You don't really expect two players on T side to be saving, but they really have no choice, and time is definitely not in their favor. Sands of time of ticking. Berzerk holding on tight. I think that was, what, 1 casualty for Berzerk there? Actually, I don't think they had a single casualty.
Not in that round, no. They just stood tall, and as I said, that connector setup was really one that you would kind of expect if they are going to try to clear that position out, that they're a little more forward with it on TDR's side, but instead they're going to fall victim.
Oh, monster control early yawn, and Tossin's been punished. That's the kind of the German beast, isn't he, right now in this game? He's been removed out of the question. Patrick looking to gain some ground forward, but Legit's kind of hiding around the wall onto his side, so he's not really ready for this one. Could be the equalizer. Patrick doesn't seem to be aware of that position at all.
He'll go down for it. Legit takes him out on the lurk, and that's going to cue TDR straight out monster now, trying to take down Syncs. Oxygen on the trade. He's got an AUG that was tossed over to him for the previous round. Got to be careful. They need to take down Melizda, and Oxygen once again on the trade. 2-on-2. You see Cello making his way out the smoke. Mink seems to understand that this is a possibility. Cello comes out wide, and the op is not a weapon you want to have in that situation. And Berzerk are going to go on to a 10th round here.
Yeah, it's looking tough right now for TDR. It seems like Berzerk kind of has all their timings right? You know, they have the flank, they have the map control, they're utilizing it into their advantage, catching TDR off guard entirely. It is a very comfortable lead here. I mean, a 10-5 finish for Overpass isn't that uncommon. 11-4, we're kind of starting to tread on that, you know, overperformance for Berzerk here.
11-4 is going to make that T-pistol, or CT pistol rather, for TDR absolutely essential.
Yeah. If
TDR are able to get this last round, losing pistol won't absolutely be the end of this one, but finally, if that looks like a fast play towards Monster, they're going to go with guns this time, and there's no one home.
Yeah, the flashbang is very effective. That's a free kill once again for Berzerk, and Cello with the AUG holding down the Monster push. So tough guys get hit here for TDR, and they've taken so many casualties trying to get on the site that Berzerk's just going to overwhelm them from every single position, every single angle possible. And it is Berzerk with the 11-4 finish. Awesome. 21 kills, 5 assists. That's scary.
He's having a massive half. and probably going to translate that into T side. I mean, now he's going to be able to just try to work on individual plays and towards. I can expect them to just kind of send him to clear out parts of the map on his own when he's feeling it like this, and that's where you can really be a thorn in the side of a defense on a map like Overpass, is when teams have to dedicate resources into stopping you rather than it being the other way around.
That's a good point. Berzerk, they have their crosshairs on towards that B site. Oxygen trying to tap away, but it's not able to hit a single shot, and legit finally finds Mink. So it's a man advantage once again for Berzerk. An important round. Looks like it's already crumbling here for TDR, but there are still 4 players alive, and Popov has found the equalizer.
He's found one more for his troubles there. Tossin gonna get things started here in pit. He's gonna find one, and Melizda joining in on the fun. Popov one more. That's 3 on the round for him. Looking for Melizda now. Cello's low. He can't really afford to take this fight on his own, and the bomb is in a very rough position for Berzerk, regardless of what weaponry they have here. But this is a very interesting decision. We see TDR's rotating a player in through upper right now.
Oh yeah, he's so far removed. Popov has to make sure he doesn't die too soon right here. But look, I mean, the HP's in their favor, right? As long as they don't get headshotted, they pretty much have this in the bag. Let's see if they can sniff out the setup right here. There's a player in pit that can peek at any time. There's a player towards that wood pillar. That person in heaven kind of needs to start supporting, and there it is. Chalo's removed. Melizda, last player alive, 1 versus 2.
Popov, one more for him. That's 4 on the round. A huge one from the TDR player there. He was in short that entire time, and it pays off. I mean, I didn't really expect him to be able to get that many, but maybe Berzerk just kind of wasn't ready for him to just pop out. There was no one supporting the bomb planter, which was interesting to me. Like, everybody was so concerned with rushing in towards pit and, you know, that lower CT stairwell, that no one was there to support in case he got pushed from short.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I think to some degree they trusted that somebody would be able to kind of remove Popov out of the equation, but they weren't really able to trade him out well enough. So an important round secured. We stressed the importance of it, and TDR's off on the right track. So let's see if this comeback is possible. This again is a round that should be, and I say that very lightly these days, considering pistols, especially the German Deagles, something to be reckoned with.
Melizda almost taking down Popov, who's going to be careful and just back off. 3 up in towards A. We see Patrick holding down the position that his counterpart Tossin did ever so well in the first half.
You know, my butt's always clenched when I see somebody playing the garbage position against ecos, right? If you're not able to find that first kill quick enough, you get overwhelmed so fast. Luckily,
it's easy to get pinched in there for sure, and then your players on site almost want to get forward to help you, and then that's where they can get put into trouble.
Austin trying to lurk in, but it seems like Oxygen breathes them out. Patrick, his position compromised, looking to do what Tossin was doing all game long, but he's not as successful with it. So Popov and Expand will be the ones finding the kills. And Popov with that AUG, he's comfortable. That's a very good weapon to find duels, and there it is. TDR Gaming, 1 casualty. Not bad. And the FAMAS is secured, so MP9 is dropped. And, okay, that's a pretty good round for TDR. I like that.
Pretty good round. I mean, other than you foreshadowing Patrick's death there, you couldn't have really said it any better. He didn't really know if it was a great position to be in, and exactly what happens. He gets taken out by getting pinched from bathrooms in short. So a rough position to go in, but I mean, that's a casualty that you're willing to concede in turn for a round like this. They have a decent amount of weaponry to work with, a good amount of utility as well. We see them willing to take control of this upper A position, at least for a short time, as Popov going to back off with his A site partner.
Yeah, I think TDR is getting a false positive here. They cleared out Fountain early. They thought it was clear, so they're falling back to site. But actually, the majority of players for Berzerk are in that A direction. They just came out just a little bit late. So, long A control now belongs to the German side, basically for free. No contesting happening here. And the remaining 2 players for TDR on the A side are in bathrooms. A pretty common position, I would say. A pretty common setup. And if it's not cleared out well, it's very effective. But Melizda, he might be the first victim here.
Jit throws a smoke onto the A site, likely to prod or rotate or to try to bait out some utility, but not willing to budge our TDR. And they have rotated one up around the corner. Melizda escapes a close duel with Popov in bathrooms there. And now Patrick, he's close to help him out. Gotta be careful. Patrick turns and he will win the first fight. This is important as this is going to cue the A site hit. Berzerk making their way up long, and they've actually spotted this player who's been hiding in the corner. Not going to be able to find one, and that should be the round in the bag for Berzerk.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're already posturing up for a save, so that's no problem there. They need all the money they can get. But Berzerk just sniffing that out so well. I think the timing on that A push was just on point. They heard the flashbangs. They realized that TDR was kind of getting that information, clearing out Fountain as early as possible. And they took advantage of that false positive. So, job well done. Berzerk.
They read it very well.
Yeah, this is... We're starting to kind of tread on danger territory here, right? We're in danger zone now.
I agree. Because now TDR doesn't really have a good amount of money going into the next round, but they're going to be tempted to force into it. If they lose that, then it's pretty much near perfect CS that needs to be played for the rest of the half. And against a team like Berzerk, we see what they did on their CT side. Tossin's still rolling here. I mean, it could be very dangerous territory. This round is an absolute must-win if they decide to force, but I can also see them maybe saving. Nope, they are going to force.
It's actually a good buy. I mean, they have 2 AUGs, 2 rifles, an ump kit, a little bit of utility to work with, enough to make the A defense and B defense strong, depending on where they choose. Let's see if they compensate for their weaponry here. I wonder if they kind of contest something. It seems like connector is the desired choice.
Tossin gonna get tickled as he heads in towards short B, but he'll get that position by himself. Kind of what I mentioned. I've expected them to use him to their advantage out towards the B side, maybe, or even A, as a lurk and a player who can find a lot of damage. And instead, this doubled position with the A players, they're gonna put themselves towards long.
I do like this bait setup. And the flashbang's gonna come out, and they're gonna peek right off that, but they were not looking in the right direction. I think they're looking behind that. All of them actually have voted the flashbang, so that's really unlucky. Now Tossin, lurker of the squad, looking to enter a monster by himself, and he might give away the advantage. And there it is, Oxygen, amazing frag. That's a great find, upgrade for him. So that's the SMG out of their hands. And now the remaining Berzerk players have pretty much no choice but to go A at this point. They don't have any control towards the B site.
Yep. The A hit is on now, and I mean the cavalry is home, so it's just going to be a frag fest in towards the A side at this point. Is Berzerk going to be able to do this? No utility on either side. Patrick gets traded out quickly. 2 players behind Optimus here, and Melizda and Sinks combined for those. That's going to leave Oxygen in a really rough spot. He's still over towards that B site. Not much he's going to be able to do to get back into this one. 2 low players, though. I guess he could do it.
Yeah, that's the silver lining, right? I mean, there's 2 players that are one-shottable. If he can find Cello early, or if he can find these 2 players early and bring it down to a 1v1, that's a pretty good chance. And he has a kit as well, but the smoke defuse, that's not really an option for him. He's gonna have to find all these kills, and the longer he takes walking, the lower chances this is. Oh, missed shot, brings 6 down to 2 HP. That's really unlucky.
He'll escape with his weapon. But still, as I mentioned, that was probably a must-win round. It's still tough to say. I mean, there's a lot of Counter-Strike left to be played if TDR can turn this around. They'll have to save here, so likely conceding a 14th to Berzerk, and then that's where things get really dicey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at that point, the CT side, the kind of the downside of it is you can almost never sustain 2 full gun rounds in a row, right? Unless you have a lot of cash coming into that kind of scenario. So they're gonna most likely forfeit this round right here. So it will be, or should be, Berzerk going on the 14th, and then at that point you're only 1 gun round away from a losing condition, right? So TDR is definitely nearing that end of their lifeline here. Tossin, once again, the lurker of the Berzerk side, kind of murking his magic, gaining ground, maintaining some sort of map control. So if they do want to reroute B, at least they have that option, something they did not have in the round before. So Tossin.
Upper A control being found slowly by Berzerk as they poke and prod in towards that site. Playing this very carefully. They seem to be well aware of the economic situation of their opposition here. Playing safely. And now just going to throw some kind of A execute. Oh, it's a ruse. It's a fake to try to bait rotate, so we have to see if TDR is going to bite or if they're going to stand their ground and not blink on.
Uh-oh. TDR is choosing correctly. There is a chance. There is hope. 4 players in this direction. I think the 5th player is making his way over.
Here it comes. Into the meat grinder goes too, but still. Berzerk going to come out on top. Kind of what you'd expect with the weaponry available on that side. And Berzerk a 14th round. And TDR backs against the wall. Patrick onto a glass cannon. This is probably one of the first stops TDR has had in a while. And they need it at this point. They need something. They need an X factor.
Right, and there really is no silver lining here for TDR except the fact that they have weapons, right? I mean, Berzerk is sitting on loads of cash. They have this gun round. They have a gun round following this one. If they can get bomb plants in these next 2 rounds, there's probably a 3rd gun round on top of that. So this is a sketchy scenario for TDR for sure. They have to make this round clean, and they have to tighten up right here. Patrick looking for that early frag in bathrooms with the AWP, one of the only scoped weapons available for TDR. And Berzerk, once again, they've been like pretty on schedule, right? Like that map control coming in, long A control around that 1:20 mark. Patrick, he's been heard yet, but I think they might have heard him. Patrick's taking a shot, and Melissa jumping on top, finds 1 kill, and unfortunately, Popov is left stranded. So there it is, Berzerk finding a 2-man advantage, and they're looking to transition quickly towards the A site, and this might be the beginning of the end here for TDR. I think they're just going to go ahead and save their weapons and try again in the next round.
They have no choice. They don't have any kits to work with. They have no utility in terms of clearing out any of these tough positions. Somebody gets close Optimus. I mean, what are you going to do? You have to swing out wide, and then at that point, you're trading. You can't be trading in a situation like this, so it's a good call to save. And once again, it's just, you called the default of Berzerk. It's been so powerful and so methodical. They've been not really given any trouble in towards that upper A site yet. They've just been finding these kills one by one, and now hunting is going to be Cello. He finds one, looking for more. He'll take a second for his troubles there, and Mink, the only player remaining. This could be disastrous.
Yeah, this is so smart here from Berzerk. They know they have the economic chokehold, right? It doesn't even matter if they lose all their weapons for this. It's still worth it. And now TDR, they have nothing. They have literally nothing to work with in this final round except, what, SMGs, a FAMAS. Patrick, probably a FAMAS. And he's just going to go with the ump armor and a bit of utility on top of that. So Berzerk, every single winning condition is in their hands. And that hunt was so big, so massive.
I just kind of assumed that those 3 players were going to be able to get themselves into a setup that they'd be able to defend themselves. And all of a sudden, that's not the case. So now this game could be done and dusted in front of our eyes here on that round alone.
Popov caught in an uncomfortable position for an SMG, a duel that heavily favors Sinks plus the flashbang from Legit. Well placed. Once again, early map control. Usually on schedule, that 1:20 mark where they start to gain ground towards the A site. And TDR, they're done playing around, so they're going to go push into connector and find themselves a kill. And Patrick finds himself a second. So, hey, man advantage for TDR. Their lifeline and maybe being extended here.
It looks that way as Legit goes down. Nice connector push there. Once again, TDR in the driver's seat. Picks up the op, trying to spam through the smoke there. Tossing in a rough spot, but he cuts down Mink. Nice transition there, and right through the smoke. One more for Tossin, evening things out. Just like that. Gonna turn the tables on their head in this round, and Berzerk now with a shot at this round.
Yeah, I mean, he's just tossing them around.
Oh, wow. You really just did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
I'm actually mad at myself for not seeing that one sooner, to be honest. Bravo. No, he has some utility in hand, and he's really just kind of threw away the percentage here for TDR. And it's down to a 50-50. Patrick down to 39 HP. Smokes and Molotovs to block off bank and jump up, which is going to give them at least an opportunity to safely plant the bomb. Now Patrick catches Dawson going forward, and Patrick continues going forward and catches Sinks off guard. And before I can even finish my sentence, it is flipped on its head. So TDR extends their lifeline. They're even going to run for that AWP as well. They have plenty of time to work with, so why not? They know that it's got to be home back here somewhere. And Oxygen will be able to find it. Great play from Tossin there to spray through that smoke and find 2. But TDR going to live to breathe another round here.
I would like to point out that Tossin sort of slowed down in the second half, right? I mean,
Oh, certainly has.
He finished what, 21 and 5 assists or 4 assists in the first half, so he's only really found 4 kills and a couple assists on the second half.
And he's in a position where he's like lurking a lot of these rounds as well, so you'd be thinking he'd be at least able to go 1 for 1 or start catching some guys in the back. And he's out into short already. Once again, just clearing this position by himself. Over towards the B site, we see TDR having to dedicate 3 members to Tossin's presence. And
Wow.
Melizda going to capitalize on the A players again. How many times have we seen it? Okay, right through the smoke. Oxygen's going to take down Tossin, but I don't know what's going to happen here. They're in towards the A site. Forward position's already gained. And Melizda, one more. Melizda, huge round here. That's 4. And an ace to finish it off. That's 16-7 for Berzerk. Melizda going ham, almost catching up with Tossin in that round alone there. And Berzerk gonna take the game.
Yeah, that was well played. I mean, I do see the potential, though, in TDR, all things considered. Yeah, they didn't really have the best of games right there. I can tell they were kind of like their spacing was a little bit off. Their communication was a little bit off. You know, they're getting picked apart on the defaults. They had really no luck on the CT side at all, as well as the T side. It kind of did not unfold too favorably for them. But Berzerk, they're looking nuts. I mean, everything is there. The aggression, the confidence, the risk-taking, the support. I mean, those flashbangs were... Every single time I see a player take a duel for Berzerk, there's a super effective flashbang coming in right before, right? So, I mean, those are all telltale signs of kind of like a upper echelon of play coming in from the German side. But, ladies and gents, that does conclude the second match of the evening for us. By the way, our schedule has been fixed up, so we will not be having a second hour break. So it's going to be matches back to back to back. So, if you haven't done so already, by the way, please do follow our socials. That is Winners League's Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, as well as my own socials down below and Zach's socials down that way. These are our @ on Twitter. Please do follow us. We're looking to grow, and we're looking to grow Winners League as well. Obviously, we're all in this together, so we have to work together to improve the experience for all. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back in about 8 minutes for the third match, which will be, if I'm not mistaken, Kova versus Vexed. Zach, we're in for a pleasant surprise. Guys, we'll be right back.